What's that?
I got very short.
I'll try to make it through. All right, so some of these I think you can pay for out of the existing Splost, your excess funds in the existing Splost. And so we could go ahead and pay off some of that debt. So the things you see where there are black boxes there, those are combined with something else. And so just kind of start from the top. So that's a GFA loan that was for Masseyville originally, and so it's combined with a couple other items there. There's generators, Masseyville treatment plant upgrades. So if you come down to about halfway down, it says Masseyville treatment plant upgrades. The annual debt service there's $722. We're covering that out of water operating right now. That's the balance remaining, I'm sorry. The annual debt service is about $55,000 on that. Just coming down that list, ground storage tank and booster pump stations, that's the GPO loan from 2009. Annual debt service is $69,000. Remaining balance of $628. The highway 49 booster pump was included in that Nashville project we just talked about. The industrial park debt will be paid off out of the current Splost. So we've got about $260,000 remaining on that, and it'll be paid for. So you will not have to account for that in the new Splost. So that particular loan will be paid off. Industrial park sewer, we haven't started repayment on that one yet. Several different sources of money there. The jail expansion, that was, we refinanced that with the recreation loan. So if you come down just over halfway, rec complex expansion, we've got a little over $3 million left on that one. The light and tie elevator, okay, so starting at light and tie elevator tank there, you get into the projects that we paid for with the Series 22 water bonds, and that was where we borrowed the $15 million. So I think that's, out of this list, that's probably the one that you're really gonna have to account for in the new Splost. I mean, I think, you know, we've got new customers coming on board that help. We're paying for some of it right now out of water, new construction, water savings, but I think we're gonna have to have Splost funds to go with that, to service that debt. So that's one to keep in mind as we're doing our project list that we're gonna have to account for. Masseyville treatment plant upgrades, we talked about lake complex expansion, River North sewer improvements. That's paid for by the River North millage, so I wouldn't worry about that. Sun Valley Sewer, that's tied in with the industrial park sewer project we're working on now, so it's not in repayment yet.
Any closer on that one?
Tim,
Any closer on Sun Valley? Like coming up with a plan on that?
We've done some testing and whatnot, we've been putting together and said it makes it really hard.
Okay. Like I said, that's a highlighted item.
the next one there is mowing tractors from just in the last year or so we purchased, so we've got 263 left on those. We've got backhoes and a motor grader there, and then the wheel loader is sort of the same situation. On those four, it might be good to talk a little bit here about if you want to just keep paying the debt service with an eye towards turning it back in for a new piece of equipment in 4 years. I think we've had some of these discussions during the budget process. I'd have to look back and see where exactly we landed. I don't know if we've done the same thing every time, but you know, do you want to, when you the end of, most of those are like a 5-year, term. So when you get to the end of, say, that 5 years, is y'all's preference to hang on to the equipment, you know, for another 15 with no payments, or do you wanna turn it back in so that you've always got, you know, newer equipment? So that's something to kind of ponder as we talk through this. And then the last item there is the water meter change out. I think we're still waiting to hear from GPO on that one. And, we had just planned to cover that with water operating.
You said that we had monies available on the overage that we had collected that we hadn't, as far as using on something we currently got on this list.
Yes, so, let me just give you, y'all don't hold me to this, but let me just give you a rough number. So just figure 7 million. Excess current costs. So as you're thinking about projects on this list that you may want to pay off, or even some of these upcoming projects, just know you're probably gonna have 7 million total to work with in excess collections from the Splost we're in right now.
So I'm just, to help me if I'm looking at it right, we got industrial park. 2127 would be the maturity. We got 260 and 260 both on the approximate balance. We got, I take it we've already paid the 2025, and all we lack is one more.
I think that's correct.
So
Heather,
it's
you
not,
know?
We'll pay on January 1, 2026, and we'll pay the interest July 1st, 2026.
Okay,
And
so
one
that-
more payment on January 1, 2027.
one more payment on that.
So 2 more regular payments, 1 interest only.
Right. Would that save us money, go ahead and pay it off with the 7 million? Or
We
in-
just redid it down to a 1 point something %.
Yes.
It's real low
Really
interest.
Yeah, I would almost leave that one alone.
I'm just looking at the number, annual debt, and then I'm looking at the maturity, and now they're both the same. I'm sorry. They're both the same,
I think the only difference is we got some pretty good rates then, and now the rates are higher. So maybe better to leave that one alone and start, pay more on new debt.
right. I'm just looking if we got 2 more years of 2.6, that's $260,000. We could say if we got money in hand to pay now, that could go, you know, I could pay it forward on something else. Just thought. That's why I look into the numbers.
But if I would agree with that, but we know we're gonna need more money to do things, whether it's industrial park or whatever.
Right.
And if we have to borrow that money, we borrow it at 3.5. I say, put that money towards it now, and borrow less at 3.5 and keep what we got at 1. But yeah, the good point is we've got some excess to start with based on increased revenue. So the ones on the bottom that we were on our, I guess these are part of the lease buyout. So we either gonna keep re-upping the lease on it, which is basically swapping out for a new one, or pay it off. Do we know most of this equipment, is not run a lot of mileage or a lot of hours per day. So I would think if we use that money to pay off these 4 down here on the bottom,
Right.
then we got equipment that we paid off
Free and clear.
free and clear and continue to use it instead of
Right.
redoing it for 5 more years, would be my first thought. As long as we're not having any issues out of them, I would hope we can get another 5, 10 years out of them.
And that,
We look at the age of some of the equipment, replacement fees, you know,
service agreement already reflected in these amounts owed.
Yes.
So that would continue on for the next, I guess, 5 years, or to the maturity of 2028, 2029,
Yes.
30.
What is our, interest rate on the, water bonds?
I wanna say it's in the threes. I'll have to look at that.
Cause that might be a better one to put some money towards,
Yeah.
a 3% instead of 1%.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea I'm looking at, how we can pay off some debt and save some money.
Yeah, that was the highest.
I'm gonna brag on Levita, I've seen her do it several times, where she's called me and said, hey, I just saved myself 500,000, and, a little bit here, a little bit there, which 500,000 is a lot to, I mean, to us, seems like a daily 500 more here, 500 more there. We got to find ways to, if we can save it, that would be great. Kind of on the same page.
Yeah. Is it our consensus as a board to pay off with the excess money, to pay off as much as we can off this list?
Yes.
So would it be safe to ask Jason to bring us back our best use of the funds as far as percentage goes, you know, pay more on this one at 3.5 and this one on 1.2?
Get your higher interest.
Highest deal from the payback. Kind of bring us I guess you call it, I call it a reverse priority list, you know, dollar amounts to priority.
Okay.
My other thing is do we wanna look at, you know, we know that we've got to do some clearing and leveling at the industrial park, and they've applied for the grant, do we wanna set aside some of this money to go ahead and do that,
Yeah, but I think that's in the.
interest free?
Yeah. A good thought, because we were looking at, so our money that we're paying the debt service on industrial park now, I think we talked a little bit about that payoff. Can we re-up that at the same price, or is it gonna be the newer rate?
It would be a newer rate, yeah.
Then that might make the deciding factor of going ahead and putting money towards it.
Mhm.
Or at least money between now and the Splost to pay the debt service and have it now.
Mhm.
So I think we probably all would agree that that's a necessity in my opinion. Getting that money toward the level, I mean, up there.
People are, we gotta educate people again, so let them know, because still you just need to get rid of that industrial park. No, we need somebody in that industrial park, and you'll be, everybody will be reaping the benefit from the rooftop. And that's always been a shortfall in Jones County, because we've been this bedroom community for so long that, everybody wants to live in Jones County, we just need industrial economic development to offset our expenses.
And I don't hear near as much of that was a waste of money or a biggest, boondoggle we've ever had buying that property now as I do.
When are we gonna get
We're
some
that
there?
close,
Yeah.
when are we gonna,
Yeah.
hit on it? And I think that's our problem, is we're so close, and we've done a lot out there to get us to this point. And I think,
Just looking at all the interest we've had, because there's not a lot of big, tracts of land that size anymore for any big development.
Do we have any water hydrants on Highway 57?
Yes.
We got water over there?
But that entrance, always, does it go all the way to Massey Beth?
It goes 2/3 the way in, and comes down the.
It was on Bluegill, up through that Bluegill area, you got a line through there? Is it not Bluegill, I own a house on it, I'm trying to think.
Line runs through the whole property, runs up the dirt through the industrial park, 57, it splits, goes to Hidden Hills, goes the other way to King Line, cuts through Patterson, comes back like that.
Can't remember where I was landing over there. I'm sorry, I grew up on
The paper.
What land? That's my land.
all right, you know, I've already got somebody trying to steal. Morning glories, what I was trying to remember. Yeah.
Bluegill morning glory, which is.
Not
I had one in Bluegill's
I
at
see.
the lake. I had one up there too, thank you.
See where you're off a little bit.
I'm just different county, wrong county. But
I was thinking, we don't have nothing bluegill, we don't have nothing named after fish around here.
I was something close.
So are we good on this and we?
Yeah, I think we're on that, I'm clear on that, all right?
All right.
Right, big paid on it. So, shoot.
Keep y'all rolling and strolling along today. So Justin Duke Smith, let's go through and see which department heads made us mad in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Nope.
So we just put a new roof on that water department, take that tarp, so that blue tarp up there and put a, one of the orange, wet orange tarps up there, that office will be fine for a while.
All right,
Now, did I just not? Didn't y'all send me signs that thing on there? Here, you're in charge of that one.
I'll talk to him.
Oh, no, we're good. I can talk to him later.
so, Mr. Chairman, sorry, I'll just kind of take us through this list. I won't spend a ton of time on each one, I'll try to lump them together if I can. So the first three items there, you'll recall maybe a year and a half ago, we were talking about 4-H and elections and a couple of other departments. And so the board approved having Bob Brown, BTVB, do a study for those departments. And it was elections, 4-H, purchasing, and fire department. And went and met with those different departments, developed an estimated amount of square footage that was needed, and then came back with some estimated amounts on what it might cost to do those projects. And when I got the amounts back, I didn't even bother bringing them to y'all. The size of those numbers is appropriate for this discussion, for a Splost discussion, but otherwise I don't think we've been able to afford it. So the purchasing, warehouse buildings there first, 4-H, and then elections, and then on down. I think Bob Brown had an estimate of 3.6 million for the fire department headquarters station when he did that a little over a year ago. So that's what those first three are. The next one there is just some lighting improvements at the park. Here at the government center to add some lighting to the walking path in the dog park. Building maintenance has several items that are related to the civic center that you could probably lump together as a civic center improvements type line item. You're familiar with kind of the subsurface, the flooring. It's not the flooring, it's what's underneath it that's going to need repair. The asbestos abatement in the crawl space. There's drainage issues underneath there that Tim could speak to. I think he spent some time on his belly underneath the Night Center with Donald and a couple others one morning. And then the roof is in need of replacement too. So several items there related to the Civic Center that Donald submitted. The Development Authority site grading, work that y'all mentioned just a little bit ago. So 5 to 7 million total for a 150-acre area. And so they've asked for $5 million. I know they're pursuing some state funds that would cover the additional $2 million there. Fire Department Headquarters Station, 4-bay, 14,000 square foot station with an EOC integrated with it. Somewhere in that 3.6 to $5 million range, up to $8 million, kind of depending on what type of building you do. The next item there at the bottom of that first page is replacing 7 fire apparatus that we have that are over 20 years of age. That cost would be somewhere in the 2.8 to 4.2 million dollar range, 400 to 600,000 each.
On the headquarters station, the 4 bays, would this is just to replace fire apparatus that are aging, so we would still need 4 more for the bays? So one of them has the headquarters with a 4 bay, and then right up under it, we talk about 7 apparatus that are because of aging equipment. So is the 4 an additional 4 in that bay area that would be needed?
So some of the equipment we have now would be housed in
Okay.
some of those bays.
And I know it'd be for a different discussion, but we'll talk about the location.
Just the one that was mentioned previously, that we haven't done anything with that. Starting over on the next page there, number 12, Parks and Rec submitted several items there. One would be a recreation center with a 2-court gym. I think we're pretty much maxed out on indoor court space right now. And we're using the middle school for some things, and using Matty Wells for some practices and that type of thing, but pretty much maxed out. So that would provide 2 additional courts inside. Paving the gravel parking lot at 18, $2 million.
We'll get too much votes. So the rec center 2-court gym, so that's just for rec basketball?
No, I think it would have more incorporated with it. Bert mentioned the one that Monroe County recently did. I don't know what all is included with that. I think he said they spent about $3 million building once, sometime in the last year or so. Just recently opened.
And is it just for the rec league basketball?
I'll find that out. I don't know.
I mean, do you know how many rec league basketball teams we have? 3, 4?
Probably Bert's in the mountains.
I was gonna text James Harvey.
Oh, okay. He may not. Yeah, he was president of the board. Yeah.
Oh, well,
My son's
all right.
league last year, 5 teams. So it was, like about 11, 12-year-old. So you figure, I mean, there's probably 5. I think there's 5 age groups, because it goes up to 16.
I don't have James's phone number.
So it's probably 25 boys teams anyway. And then they're combined in the very first group. Maybe not quite that many girls teams, but I mean, you're probably pushing 40 if I had to guess. It's a struggle for them to find practice times available for space. The older age groups right now use the Gray Station gym for games and practices.
What are we thinking about doing at the rec center?
I think that would be the thought.
On the top part or down at the bottom?
Probably the top part, I think there'll be more room up
Some
there.
space still up there.
Back 3/4 of the property that we're not using.
So the original plan for the reroute of those, it was just fund it, instead of that in front, so you have all the parking areas.
still have room for it there?
Yeah, I think there,
Yeah, we make it work.
Between this parking lot and this parking lot? That front
Yeah.
corner.
hmm.
Parking lot, really.
Speaks to say, we gotta pay the parking lot.
We gotta finish it. Yeah, I've got that, yes.
Anybody that's been up there for opening day or,
Yeah.
A year ago, we were talking about the parking lot being $1 million, we spent $2 million on this, we're doing underground drainage, so that way you don't have a sheet of water on the low end coming off the people.
So at one time it was 1 million several years ago, and then when we did the T-Splost last year or 2 years ago, Tim redid the updates and it was 2 million.
Okay. All right, we're including, Tim, I guess we're including underground drainage to catch the water before it gets to all the way to far end.
Boxes,
Yeah,
there's some
drain
boxes
boxes.
there, but we need some curb and gutters to direct it.
Right, I just know that much square footage, how much water is gonna be going off the far end.
Yeah. And I think it needs to be regraded as part of that too, when Tim,
Yeah.
To catch the, collect the water. Yeah,
especially with those new houses being built right there.
yeah.
that's what I'm lost.
Let's see, we've got, Bert submitted for some golf course upgrades, $1 million for irrigation, cart paths, range and green improvements.
Amen.
And then Highway 18 ballpark upgrades, infield upgrades, LED lighting, cage renovations and pavilions.
Jason, you gonna add the manager and the wagon wheel in that?
I think we've got some money available from the regular budget for that.
Okay.
I would add the purchase list there, and then I was gone and now he's gone, so we hadn't talked about this, but, really you've got a number of the infields that need to be leveled. I mean, the whole field needs to be laser leveled, and it's more than we can do. In several of those fields behind first base, it sort of rises up like that, and.
I remember him talking about going in there strategically grading that field, the
Yeah.
pond, the puddle, and
Yeah.
the water gets on off and you play quicker.
Yeah, and it's really just more than we can do in terms of getting that right. So if you're inclined to allocate some money for upgrades there at that ballpark, it might be worth adding a little bit for that. The sheriff's office submitted several things there. One is just kind of their, the usual vehicle allocation. They've got 6 years worth of vehicle replacement built in there. They've had issues for probably 2 or 3 years, maybe longer than that. But I've had a running dialogue with them about the roof in that entry awning. The roof is original to the building. I think it's 25 years old now.
It's approaching 30. I talked with Earl last week about it. He's at the point they're having to patch here and there.
Yeah.
Be nice. He showed me some options that we're looking at, so.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot of due diligence on what would be good to put there and how much those different things cost. So, got those 2 things there. The next one is Courthouse. The pre-COVID estimate was $10 to $12 million, and that was going from 12,610 square feet to about 39,000 square feet. We're going back through now, and so before the architect came up with that number, he did a space needs study where he went to each department, what do you have, what do you really need, kind of thing. And since so much time has lapsed, he's going back to the departments and saying, hey, is this still accurate? And then he'll use that to develop a new conceptual plan. So I don't really have a good number at this point. You could probably easily you could easily double the pre-COVID numbers, and maybe more. I mean,
Yeah.
So it would, some of it would be renovation of the plan has always been, you know, stuff's kind of come and gone, but it's always been, you know, renovate the historic structure, tear off the old jail expansion, and then, you know, you build something new onto it. And so it's some renovation, some new construction. But I think I cut you off.
No, I was thinking with the space needs assessment, I'd like to see what we looked at originally and what we're changing to now, because I know over this period of time, some programs have either reduced or gone away and new ones have been added, so I just want to make sure that we're capturing all the needs now and filling in spots that may have been open from a program going away. And the other part is because I know we kept talking about how some functions of the courthouse need to go to the new part and some can stay in the old one, and I think it's all about who needs to be secure around what, you know, part of it. So just getting a clear picture on those so that we're not overbuilding for future space or underbuilding, and the worst thing we can do is spend a lot of money on something and get moved in and go, man, we need more space.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen on a couple of different situations, and it's not pretty. You really lose the trust. Put a lot of money into something and then not have what you need when you get there. And I think the recreation thing's a prime example. We had a big plan and we didn't fund it all, and now we're all suffering from that. Because we still have those needs and people still want them. And now we keep coming back to, you know, let's add this for 2 million or 4 million or 5 million.
The next item there, I'm not certain that this is eligible. Pam asked me, and I hadn't had a chance to research it yet, but they've got a lot of old documents there that need to be digitized. She said she had about $250,000 on her side of the house, and Judge Patterson was putting together an estimate on what he had. So I just doubled her number and put in $500,000. If that's something y'all are interested in, I'll research and see if that's, it's not a capital project in the traditional sense, you know, you're building something or buying something, but I can check and see if that would be eligible. I just went ahead and included that.
Something we gotta do, though.
Yeah, I think probably so.
It would probably be eligible under service and debt or some sort, but maybe not as a project, but I mean, yeah.
So now, down to 21, the water department, Brandon submitted a few things there. One is a new building that would house water and the sheriff there. I know he's had a lot of issues with that old building, drainage, roof, just kind of the layout, not great. And I think the customer experience is not great. And so Brendan's done some planning and studying, and 11,250 square foot building, and $2.5 million. The next item there is replacement of the Deer Run lift station and relocating that for $1.5 million.
That was one high on our priority list as far as problems with it, right?
Yeah.
It's located in the back of the dam. There's a stream of water about that big that shoots all the way across, it's 10 foot. If you take a pump truck down there, a honey wagon, it takes a tractor to pull it back up the hill.
Yeah, it's about the best location.
Any work you do down, any work that we do down there now, we have to have a tow truck on site, just to get whatever vehicle is back up. It's not quite a 45-degree slope of gravel, but it's pretty close.
The only reason I ask is I'm marking on mine, just so you know. It
3 additional lift stations. I put $4 million, $1 million each.
Your mathing was mathing there.
Got 25 of other people.
Yeah.
We're never gonna make it through this Splost.
Jason, going back to the office building for the water and sheriff on 49, relocate that or build in the same location? And then we're close to the highway there, we're limited lot size.
Yeah, I think the idea would be to rebuild it there at the existing site. We probably have to acquire that lot next door, to give us some space. It's tight in there when you, if you try to stay on our lot and go all the way around the building, I mean, you really have to hug it, especially on that other side. And so I think we'd have to acquire a little bit of additional land there. The last one is replacement of some old AC pipe in River North that runs, I think, from the back gate to the, what? Yeah, to the tank.
You mean where we always have problems?
One of the areas.
That we had recently, but,
Yeah.
did we ask the department head to prioritize their list?
So I had them like that, and I think I messed it up when I did this in alphabetical order. Does that look like the order you just used?
Yeah, but in all fairness, I didn't prioritize mine.
I think they are still.
Yeah. Was the thought to do it like we do to discuss it, then come back like we do with, the budget and us put our priorities on?
Yeah, that'd be done for do that.
Cause I'd like to know what they prioritize too, cause like, we wouldn't know, I would have my guess on whether it was, the one, lift station at, Deer Run, or whether it was, the 3 additional lift stations, or the replacement of pipe, which one of those would be top priority for them, in case we couldn't do them all.
Yeah.
A lot of needs. I don't put it as wants, I look at it as needs. You have to sit there and look at it like, it's a tough decision side. Civic Center, yeah, it's been needing a roof for years.
And the draining under it.
Yep.
That would, really on that project too, we'll have to involve the school board. 'Cause that building is partially owned by the school board, somehow.
Because I think because the museum and nutrition that's part of that building.
Yeah.
They gonna chip in, right? They get part of the block.
Exactly.
They'll easily be able to. No, they got more needs. They got more needs than we do.
Yeah, I sat through that budget the other day too.
Kids tend to,
Cost a lot.
put more wear and tear on
Yes,
stuff than most grown-ups do.
yes.
You know firsthand, don't know first.
Firsthand. If we get carpet the last 6 years somewhere, it's a problem.
That's why that, going back down to the concrete, polishing it and waxing it, that's a really good thing right now.
Jason, did you total up everything?
I did not. I figured I'd just do one.
Jason is still on, vacation.
All the time.
Yeah.
And the basketball courts, the indoor courts would having use of about 120 to 150, depending on but they would also be used for fall co-ed, softball, I think that's part of it, pickleball.
And Jim,
Yes, in the winter, bad weather, during the daytime.
we wanna get this kids playing basketball on the basketball court. And try to sell it for everybody else. You have your splash pad in there too.
I want a
Inside the
splash
gym.
pad right out
It
there.
could be a
With a
heated splash
playground.
pad, first in the country. 80 degrees year round, splashing up, playing up.
I don't care if it's a water hose in the middle of a concrete pad.
What I'm thinking, I'll get a concrete block, put your water hose in it, and just turn it on, turn it off.
Take the ball out of the fountain,
And-
there's your splash pad right there.
I know, it'd be a pretty one too, right there on the pavement.
You can
I
stand
got
a
an
little
idea.
pool around it.
On front page news, we can sit there and have Wendy out there with you spraying her with a water hose. Duke County splash pad.
Open 1 hour a year.
The,
See what I have to go through for a splash pad over here?
I'll go put you in a pool, but
I think, so, remind me when we're talking about putting this on, because if we're gonna do it, we're talking about November.
We've gotta get it done by basically the end of this month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and we got budgets, what we're gonna squeeze in there.
August.
I believe that I got conference this week and next week. You, Callaway?
Next week.
Yeah, maybe that's what, y'all wanna try to find a date while we're sitting here?
Yeah, 'cause I got 3 days in August, I'm not gonna be. Right.
When is the ACCG thing? Is next week?
23rd, 24th.
I got 7th and 8th in August,
So basically, we've got a, you know, we'll talk with the city at 6, talk through percentage splits and that kind of thing. And then somewhere before the end of the month, we've got to do a call meeting where you approve the resolution calling for the referendum and approve the intergovernmental agreement with the city. So we just gotta leave time to do that.
Do we wanna try to do it on the 21st? We've got that, the city's got that GDOT meeting, I think, one of us we're planning to go
Right.
to. Got time before that.
What time they have the GDOT meeting?
6.
6, right.
I know, I'm booked from like 2 to 4 that afternoon.
Put it
The
forward.
call meeting will take but 15
I was
minutes.
talking about doing another one of these, till we get, 4:30, 5:30, and then.
Let's go ahead. All right, so 4:30 on the 21st.
It's on the 21st.
That's here.
I'll clarify the priority rankings on the, from the departments, and then I'll send it out. I'll send it out to
Put
everybody.
us a column on there, we can do ours, then we can come back with them.
Yeah. And after the meeting at 6, you'll have a better idea of how much money you gotta work with.
Do we wanna look now at the excess we've got now on projects? Is that, or do we wanna lump it all together? Well, I think we
watching them walk away from the meeting from us to go visit Dublin, and they made the deal the next day there, proved something to it. Theirs was flat and it was clean and it was ready to start building on, and they're already building.
Just curiosity, how much interest have we had, if you were to put a dollar figure on it over, just since you started?
I found anywhere from 15 million to 8 billion, and that's had every 30 months.
So pile up, that's right. People start, questioning, I tell them, I said that we've got a pile of interest.
And that's 30 years, the last 2 years, that's how we do it.
That's where the education part comes in. I'm like Commissioner Kitchens, I hadn't had near as much, problem with people, saying, want to get rid of the industrial park. Nothing like when we started 9 years ago. When we start telling them about all the entries we have had and why we need to have, that's where the education comes in.
What's the grant cycle on that?
I have to have it submitted October the 10th, and then we won't know anything until,
Spring?
February, March. But the more we put toward it, once we put 1 to 10%, the better chances we have of getting it.
That's why we can do a commitment on our end. So, I'm assuming we get revenue and we put a portion in as we get it. So we don't have, we can't allocate the money until it's in the bank.
Right.
We can know where.
Yeah, you got to know, or will have to.
And we'll know how much we'll have the day we need to submit the grant to them.
Going back to that education part, I know it's going to go into my meetings, on August the 12th, we're having Georgia Academy at our new office. Are any of y'all planning on coming to that? 'Cause I need to register y'all that for the 18th of this month.
I've got it on my calendar.
Do y'all have the same kind of training requirements as like development authorities that just went in? Okay.
And is it something that you would like to have Mr. Burston or somebody from the
I would love that.
Board of Education?
The goal is from 8:30 to 4:30, and it's based off, it's geared towards North County, but it's in-depth about economic development as a whole. From your Main Street program all the way to your industrial development and how what the county does and the city does plays into it.
It's on the 12th,
Yes, sir. From 8:30 to 4:30.
at Butler, I got it.
It wasn't gonna be at Butler Hall, but now that we've got the new office space, we're gonna do it there.
Well, I got it down at Butler Hall. Get there, y'all, there, and where we go.
Did they change that thing from time to time?
It was,
I've been through it a couple times before, and I just didn't know if it was.
they've done it a little differently, because before it was like for 5 months, you went 1 day a month, and now they've redone it, and now it's geared toward the community.
Okay.
Sam, would you be able to come on?
We had it on the calendar.
Okay, John?
Yeah, I'll be good with that.
Okay, just $195 per person, so I wanna make sure that you're coming before I
Yeah.
pay for all that.
I just RSVP.
Okay, great.
And then the
Stay
State of
the
King,
community, that's on August the 28th, and that's what the chamber is putting on, that will be at Butler Hall, and they're asking, I should have got an email about it sometime a month and a half ago, but we're asking for the city, the county, the school board, sheriff's department, police department, fire department to come and give an overview on kind of what's going on, just each entity will have like 15 minutes to talk. So county's an entity, city's an entity, then you divide
you're right,
And then another-
28th, 11 to 1.
Yeah. And I know Chloe is talking to her son.
All right, so one more thing I'm gonna throw at y'all while y'all are still here. Do y'all wanna have any discussion, before we get into the meeting with the city about percentage splits and that type of thing? But I didn't know if, you've got an opportunity here to kind of talk through it. I mean, it's obviously a public meeting and they can watch on the internet, but, if y'all wanted an opportunity to kind of talk through it.
I gave y'all my thoughts, and Jason put it in the spreadsheet. I had a little bit of a change of heart, not a change of heart, but a change of, like, dollar amounts on it. Because we talked about, well, I guess my first thought was keeping the percentages the same, and then work towards the level 1 projects that the city and county can do together. My first thought is just my personal opinion that, the county and the service delivery does, have all the parks, and we're responsible for all the parks. We've talked for years about needing one in the city. The city's got that piece of property that we looked at. I remember walking around with the mayor, my first term. It's a pretty spot, be a really nice park downtown, I think. I don't say we're obligated, but we're almost obligated to do something like that. I think it's needed and deserving, and I wouldn't have a problem with going in. My personal opinion, we can go in as a level 1 project, so it really didn't come out of either one of our pockets to build the park.
James Collins, he says, I'm watching.
All right, scratch everything I said. We're not giving them sorry, right? Just kidding.
I forget about you.
Yeah, James is gonna watch. Yeah, if he's not here, he can at least watch, right?
He's supposed to be working.
That's right. I'm gonna give him a hard time about that. But yeah, I think put that as a level 1 project so that we both pay for it. I wouldn't mind us maintaining it, meaning swing sets and stuff like that when they break or when they, because we have those parts in our other parks. I don't think the city stocks swing sets or chains or anything like that. But I would also ask them to do the grass cutting, the weekly maintenance, because they're closer and they have 0 turns that they're cutting anyway. So
And they're right there when,
right,
you know,
grass maintenance, operational maintenance. We'll do grass, landscaping and all. They do. We go in together and build the property, build the park. I think that's good for a level 1. Unfortunately, everybody's seen online lately about what we now own inside the bypass, the county and the city. And if you look at it, there ain't a gnat's difference in the amount of road right-of-way that we now maintain and the city maintains from the bypass down that the state gave back to us without any funding for it. So those streets are another one that I would say would be a good joint project that we do, the roadways from in town to the bypass or wherever the state quit taking care of them. As you can see, they're starting to pave their ends of them, and we're gonna wind up with old roads and everything that looks like it's ours and is ours. So I'm okay with that. I think we need to do some portion of the courthouse as a joint project, because other than municipal court, every court comes through the courthouse. Any offense that's tried at the courthouse level, all that kind of stuff is through the courthouse. My last priority would be the sidewalks, which I think are, again, this is just my opinion, and people are probably gonna disagree with it. I think we've got a good set of sidewalks in downtown Gray. I know we're talking about going out the bypass John Conn.
If you could be going out to like, maybe Northside Villas, just north of Industrial Boulevard, I wouldn't go all the way to Roundabout. Because you're not gonna catch any pedestrian
Well,
traffic.
that's what I'm saying. It's my opinion. Where are they going when they go out that far? Because we've got the walkway from the school down to the rec center. But Norfolk Southern's not gonna let you cross that railroad track so there's no need, once you go around the roundabout, you're going 50 yards and you're stopping.
It's the north side of the village back to
Right.
the crossing area of Gray.
That's heavily, I mean, that's
That's-
heavily
that's-
traffic.
I mean,
And
they got their own footpath through
Yeah.
there, you see.
It's just where they take us.
Yeah, and I'm good with that, I just, you know, I didn't want us to look at it being a downtown sidewalk that goes from here to here, and from here to here is nothing but, you know,
They're not asking.
okay. I hadn't seen the sidewalk plan, but I would agree that that would be another joint venture. So my thing would be the park, the streets, the courthouse, and the sidewalks as level one. We know that that's not gonna pay for all of them, so we take a percentage, whether it's 5% or 10% off the top, and it goes based off our split towards those 4 projects. And then we pick our other projects that we wanna do with our money.
I don't see it. I mean, that's more than reasonable. Oh,
I think it's a good plan.
yeah.
I mean, cause I think that parks is one of their biggest concerns and the sidewalks. But then I like the idea of the courthouse as park, you know, that's, yeah.
Jason, do you want to throw some numbers out that were, you know, based on, Jason's very good with these spreadsheets and with these formulas and with these types, so, I don't want people to think, well, you know, the county's gonna pay 82% of the sidewalks in the downtown, just like I don't think that people ought to think that this city's gonna pay 12% of a $30 million project, so because that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about taking a portion of these 4 projects off the top dollar of the main part of what's collected in the Splost before we get to our split of, but I mean, that money would still be split percentage-wise, but it's not, the value of the projects are heavily weighted to county on one, heavily weighted to the city on the other, so I think that's where we get some common ground, even though our dollar amounts are weighted heavier county, less city, the projects are weighted heavier city than county, and if you look at the numbers, it looks like it's a fair assessment of common projects, in my opinion. Talk about what that might look like, Jason, or do we want to maybe see if the city's even open to something like that?
Wait. You got it broke down on the numbers on the,
I don't have it printed out for everybody, but.
Yeah, so we're going off the last one we talked about.
Mhm.
Okay. So we had threw some numbers out about how much, and we may have to change that one on the sidewalks. Do you have any idea sidewalks from, Ingalls to the villas?
They're not
Coughlin?
talking about that. They're just talking about.
from the city of Gray.
From the crossing,
Right, the old
To
crossing gas station.
Northside Villas.
Northside
Right.
Villas.
They got
a
sidewalk
half a
everywhere.
mile,
They have
well, a mile maybe.
sidewalks to Ingles and everything are fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
we've already got sidewalks there, we just need it from the old gas station on the corner to
Gas station.
The crossing,
crossing.
The one right across from
get the
the
old 22.
in
Oh,
front of the gas, in front
You're
of the
talking about, okay,
cars.
going down, I was thinking going down Don Con on this side.
No, we're going from the.
Where are we going? Okay.
I think, and this is just for, this is just Jason's thoughts. I think having sidewalks running from Ingalls around Philcon Parkway to the four-way stop would be very popular with people, because there's a lot of people, you drive through town in the evenings, there's a lot of walkers and runners.
You know, wide shoulders.
You got a good
And that-
wide shoulder
Wide shoulder,
there.
yeah, breakdown lane.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's a good thought, but that's not what the city has.
Right, that's right, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, you got a wide shoulder through there, going up the old 129 George 44 from
Yeah.
the red light, you don't have a shoulder.
Mhm.
I mean, if you
they hadn't cut the grass, everybody's walking down the middle of the
They're
highway.
in the lane, pushing.
So if it's a half a
groceries,
mile up.
doesn't matter.
Well, I think John makes a good point there, it's like riding up Highway 11. You're almost to the point, you have to curb and gutter it, there's a sidewalk, there's storm drainage in, to stay in the right of way. So, instead of $300,000, come $800,000.
It's quite a project. I mean, you got some spots.
So a WAG, $1 million would do it?
Should,
You got a creek just north.
'Cause I just threw some numbers out.
You got a sewer manhole, and if you step off, you're 12, 15 feet down to it, and it's, you got strollers and people with kids, and they're in the highway.
Because we originally had, I had, 200 on the park and 800 on the walkway, on the sidewalks. And then I went back and reversed it, because I thought we put more in the park, so I put 500 and 500, but still, you're talking $1 million there, we could reduce that. The park at Turner Woods, I think for $200,000, we could build a nice park there. So if we keep that at $1 million, that's, I'm gonna put 200 and 800.
when you talk about a park at Tony Woods, what are you talking about?
Playground, even if they, mainly something like, if it's a track around it, a walking track around it, playgrounds, probably 3 playgrounds, I think that's worked out very well for, that include, small inclusive playground for smaller kids, a 3 to 5 year old, and then a 5 to.
We own
12.
Turner Woods. I mean, Board of Education owns Turner
No,
Woods.
this is down the road.
This is on Cedar.
That corner lot right there.
There's a corner lot we give
Yeah.
to the city years
It's the
ago.
one the city owns.
It's not that big a walking track around it.
It's not but acre.
Can you pull that phone?
And it's, I mean, it's pretty hardwoods. I mean, you don't wanna get rid of all the trees.
Maybe more
No, but
passive,
it's a lot of-
pavilions, area, and
Some
you know,
swings and.
something
Yeah.
more of a-
Well, nice playgrounds, pavilion,
I don't think you, Jason's gonna look it up, but it won't be, what, a quarter to half size of the Haddock Park? It's 2 acres.
You'd be a
if that.
portion, just playground equipment alone will fill up that.
Right.
Kind of like the first part of Haddock Park.
Right, you're talking about a quarter to half, a third of Haddock Park. So that's
Part
not-
of Haddock Park is
Bigger
kind
than
of
that.
like.
No, it's, no.
well, then 200 would definitely do it. But I had just wild guesses there, 800 for the sidewalks, 200 for the park, 3.5 million for the street pavements.
Like, you know what we spent on Liberty Park on those playgrounds? Thinking we spent like $165 just on the equipment, without doing any clearing or bathroom or pavilion or anything.
Yeah, and that was 3 of them.
I think so.
But those are like Play World kits. I mean, if we're gonna do, I mean, that would be all out. They're talking about, some playgrounds and some pavilions. So I still think even, maybe 300,000.
What's that
I
street
guess
that we're-
playgrounds and pavilions.
What do we spend on Liberty Park on
I can't see
playgrounds?
that. It's at the corner of Woodland and
Is it Tank?
Oakland. It's Woodland and
They have
Oakland.
inclusive parties tell me it was 150.
We would probably put in our people to it.
Yeah, I was trying to see where you sent me to, but, so we don't, put the label too much. Would, trying to remember how much mileage we had on the city and county roads. Would 3.5 million get us started on paving the state highways that we got given back to us, graciously given to us?
One of the big expenses the city's looking at is that traffic signal. Where the railroad happens. That's a big cost.
So,
They might get some help there too, but you don't know that. They know more about that.
joint project
Show
on
acre.
a paving crew to pave the, cause, so we pave everything from 129
All right,
out
we'll
to
see when you have the
111
county.
out
And
The
the
44.
county
Haggins.
paid that project, so the city would have more money. That's what you say.
But if they only pay half the other one, then they have to put towards
They
that.
don't show any acreage on there, so
Right?
Yeah.
there's a lot. Tanglewood and Oakland. Don't show
I thought
the
it was
acreage.
Tanglewood.
Huh?
I thought it was Tanglewood.
Yeah, it's Tanglewood.
What did I say? Cedarwood? Yeah.
You
no,
said
that's-
Pinewood.
They don't have any,
All
don't show
fine.
any acreage.
Based on lots around it, it looks to be plus or minus an acre.
That's not really big.
Not
Look
really.
across the street. So it's
Kids
maybe,
just drive their motorbike.
Yeah, they got they got whoop-de-woos.
Yeah, it's got some elevations,
basic rough side.
Fair enough.
That's 0.9,
But it would be essentially a located area that can be, made into a nice park.
Nice neighborhood.
But keep it wood.
Yeah, don't clear cut it, no.
Yeah, yeah, it's nice the way it is, it's still, it's shady, it's level, it's
Just clean it out, clean it up,
Yes.
sort of like,
Make it a primitive park with nice structures in there. But also talking about knowing not putting, if the courthouse is gonna be $20-25 million, we're not talking about all that money going into a level one. So if we take a percentage of the dollar amounts coming off, and that comes up to, a $9 million split or something, just using numbers, 9 million, 82% of the 9 million and 12% of the 9 million that the city pays for. If the road paving is $4 million, then 82% of the 4 million and 12% of the 4 million is paid for city and county on the paving project. That way, even though we're splitting 50-50 on road mileage, we're paying 82% of the paving. That would give them more, they would pay part of the money on the courthouse, but it also give them, at the end of the day, more money to pay towards a street light issue that they want, what their priority list is, because I'm sure they're gonna have the same discussion about priority list as we have from the departments. But I wanna make sure that we're not thinking the level one and the combined projects that we're gonna do are all the ones that we need to do.
So none of that sharing of the road would be, we wouldn't utilize any LMIG money.
So based off,
Is that, what about the, they don't get enough LMIG money to.
here's what I was looking at. If we threw my top 4 priorities in city and county and came off the top, we're still gonna pay our 82%, they're gonna pay their 12% of that. It would come up, these are just rougher numbers, that the city would pay 1.6 million of those 4 projects, and we would pay 7.4 million of those 4 top projects. And that would leave,
So James says, need a way to tell them not to worry about the park location.
yeah, don't stress over kids.
Don't worry about that park.
that's number 1 on our priority, you tell him that.
Yeah.
Stay at his meeting.
Yeah.
Jason, are we still estimating 20 and 5? Is that our current?
Estimating 25.5 million in total.
Total, okay. So that means it looks like, so are these numbers that we would take this number, the city's number, the 4.5 minus 1.5?
That would give you,
Or would this be what's left once we?
so that would be if you just did a straight split. And then, so this way I did it.
So if we did these as our priority levels. This would be,
James says, I didn't mean for you to say that out loud. Sorry.
Your Honor, strike that last comment from the record. We're not.
Sorry.
Just print the one that
I think the first one was the one you sent. That's the first one.
okay. Did you get the one I sent?
I got it, but I didn't print it out.
Yeah, okay, okay.
I got it on my phone. So this is. All right, so we're still looking at this thing, looks like, so I was, Jason, I was looking to see what we would have if we went to this priority that I was looking at, what would the city have left out there? Okay, this is what would be left over. They would have 2.1 million out of their 4.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. So they would have 2.1 million out of 4.5 left after
But they would have all these projects.
all 4 of the main, the projects I thought would be paid for.
Including the street.
Streets, the park, the sidewalks, and their portion of the courthouse.
And that's just if the estimate of the Splost is correct, if it keeps growing like it has been, they continue.
So and the reason I think it's fair is because out of the 20 million we would normally get, we would have 11 million left. Out of the 4.5 million, they would have 2.1 million left. So we're a little less than halfway of ours, they're a little less than halfway of theirs. And that would leave them 2.1 to do the street lights and whatever, because again,
It's not street lights, it's
traffic lights, I mean, yeah.
traffic signal.
In view of our street signals are crosswalks, red lights, flashing walking lights, everything is under the street light division. So that's why I keep saying street lights, but traffic lights and everything in the city, because the city owns them all. Anyway, that, city's gonna have a list just like this out of their 2.1 left to do these and their traffic signals, traffic lights
And they should have some excess funds usually.
from this year.
Mhm.
And it may be that they have enough left to do the traffic lights if DOT doesn't do anything. And then have their 2.1 left for their list of, I'm sure their department heads are gonna come in and say what they need. And I'm sure the city's got a project list that they prioritize as well.
So they're split from this 24th and the other spots was like,
It was 82, 18.
yeah, but it was like 3 million what they ended up. What their amount was just 3 million.
Basically 2,497,000.
So it would be almost the same that they got, plus they have all these.
Mhm.
really high.
Yeah, that's right.
I can always put all those, excess funds they got, with these poor guys going through there getting tickets, they can just add that to the.
Oh, they're gonna say that.
Oh, yeah, I know. I just, you won't believe the grief I've gotten. I'm going, yeah, y'all calling the wrong people. You didn't call the city.
I mean, are they gonna start pulling over the school buses loaded down with the kids?
No, because they
You
all
know,
got
getting way too crazy about all that stuff. The state laid it on us. I don't know what we're supposed to do. We gotta pay for them, but, they're not gonna.
Another conversation for another day on this
Yeah.
topic.
But it's,
You had talked positives.
oh, yeah. I mean, there's not every city that's ever, had the bypass come around and enforced it, had to go through the growing bank. Till they educate the people coming through and say, hey, you can't go this way.
Well, the bypass was built to take the truck traffic out of there.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the sole purpose.
Yep. And I think we just have to be common sense about, if somebody's, the people that are enforcing the law have a business in town. And if they were writing up every truck, even their delivery trucks, that wouldn't make a good sense
If
at all,
you
so.
run any warnings, nobody has ever been given yet. It's all been done.
No, they're taking it now, they've already got paid for most of it.
300 tickets.
Yeah. Yeah, they've already getting paid for the majority of the tickets they wrote have already been paid. You know, they're 250 on the first, 500 on the second. And they started off with one, and, we'll have it at our meeting too, at our meeting tomorrow, but, no, it's,
Last year in the center tickets, I thought Adam said at the last meeting, they had started right.
Prior to June 30th, they've written 1,700 warnings,
Morning.
and then
Yeah.
last week was between 250 and 300 tickets.
Tickets.
Some second offense tickets.
It's all-
500.
So when
Yeah.
they start right?
July 1st.
yeah. And,
I wonder how many of them are people that don't take the bypass that are not. I would argue that probably most of them are not local people. I'm just going off of the Facebook rants
Right.
that,
majority of them are out-of-town people come through.
that are saying, I got 5 tickets, you know.
I think there's even service trucks who are trying to get to auto parts stores, getting tickets, trying to get over there and get a case of oil.
Well,
They're getting pulled over. Never
You know,
mind.
but if they've got business in the city, they can legally come in. Now, there's some one-offs that are in the city right now that are businesses that can't get the deliveries because they're in the county, but there's no way to get to them. And, you know, whatever weight they come, they can't get their products picked up or delivered. That's a one-off thought that I shared with, Mayor Pro Tem, that, there are some businesses in town that get curbside delivery. But because where they're located at, right adjacent to the city limit, either way they go, they're, you know, if they come in from one way, once they unload, they got to go through the city, so they don't have business in the city. And if they come in through the city, same scenario. So there's a few businesses that have been affected. How you fix that, I don't know. That's gonna be at the city, city issue, but,
well, I think there's a lot of one-offs that probably need to be rectified, but I think the intent was to stop the just through traffic of 18-wheelers, which is the reason we built the bypass to begin with.
Absolutely.
I saw a lot of people on there talking about, well, I'm getting tickets for driving my vehicle that I drive for work just because I drive it home. Well, you've never been able to drive an 18-wheeler or tandem truck to your house in Clinton Historic District.
yeah.
Now, I think what people might get mad is when you start enforcing something. But like I said, there's always, when somebody has to make a judgment call and you got somebody in the office or somebody going, well, I'm just going to deliver right there. And they don't deliver right there, they just keep going. If that's the excuse every time I pull into grade, that I know, if I just tell them I'm going to deliver to, the Handy Andy, then nobody will stop me. Well, I'm just gonna say Handy, that's like them people going through River North. They call up and say, I'm going to sew at Mr. Smith's house. They go right on through it, go straight on the
No,
Riverside
you ain't
Drive.
never done that before.
I don't do it, but I know a lot of people that do. But,
Give them a secret.
but yeah, that's, people take advantage of the one-offs like that, but
Well,
we do have to,
they've been catching them though, because they'll give those people
that's
I
right.
think one of them that was on Facebook was, I got to go here to town. They were right past where he just said he was going, and just kept going, and then, doop, and they caught him.
I keep laughing about, Mayor Miller in Macon, when they were talking about those traffic lights and all. When he said, bring me your ticket that you had to pay outside of these hours when those lights are supposed to run. I got $1,000 in a kitty that I'll pay you, I will give you if you show me a ticket. And I talked to him not too long ago, he still got that $1,000, he hadn't paid nobody yet, so, everybody will say, I'm telling you, I got these tickets, well, show me your ticket. Well, I threw it away, or I already paid it, or I'm not messing with that. Yeah. But personally, I think if you had a one-off like that, and you went to them and said, hey, this is not right, that's something that needs to be looked at. But I'd say probably 95% of them are people going through to Millersville or on north,
they got business there, so they can legally live there.
It's the harassment, get pulled over now and explain your situation, you lose so many minutes of time and.
Yeah, well, I think,
Like that Dollar General, you know, that truck,
Right.
he does a good job, he backs in there,
Backer.
yeah, he backs in there and he unloads, and he comes back out. But they got enough room for him to get out of that, but some of the places haven't got that, you know, the bill of lading, and that's not our fault, you know, that's not our problem.
that's something, we got other things to talk about
I
that.
was just gonna remind y'all, we still, you know,
Live.
live.
I know, but,
James.
No, we shouldn't be talking, we can be talking, we're gonna talk about public meetings soon, ain't we?
James did send me the footage, so the city has 3.36 miles of former state route, and then the county has 1.91 miles former state route.
So they're getting a better deal than I ever thought about. I thought we were 50-50, pretty close to 50-50. We're 82-18. Do the math on that. What are them
3.36 is them, and then 1.91 us. Tim, is paving, you think, still like $1 million a mile for resurfacing?
Well, so,
How much?
man, I'm
That's about 5.5 miles.
That's on 2 lane, what about we widen it out? Like
Yeah, that would
a
add,
wider section.
yeah, that would add to
I know,
it.
I know LMI's based on center line miles, they don't deviate and give you any extra for a
Yeah.
center lane or a extra lane or a park, you know. There's a
So that
question
money,
there.
here's my thought, that resurfacing will last a full loss period.
Should, 5 years.
So we'll have to refigure our numbers there at 3, 8, 5.5 instead of 3.5.
Anything else we got?
I think that's it.